Chapter 273 Lambs and Wolves, in Muslim Societies, Part 8. The four lovers and Frida reached the house of the so-called husband of Intisar at 10 o'clock on the next day's morning. The great politician is at home, but his son is not available. This piece of information they received at the outside door from the guard. They expressed their desire to meet Mr. Mahjoub al-Hilali. The guard told them it depends on the purpose of their visit and the schedule of the famous politician. They told him that they wanted to reveal a wicked conspiracy done to them by some people in the city. Further, they gave only Salah's name and address. After 15 minutes the guard opened the door and directed the 5 visitors to the room they should enter. There is nobody in the room and hence they waited for another 5 minutes before they heard a voice telling them he would come in 5 minutes. When he came, he did not fulfill his promise by an addition of another 10 minutes. The visitors wondered when they saw the man that came as fulfillment of the promise. One of the visitors thought that he is the father. Another mistook him for the son. Yet, another concluded that he is the grandfather. For all these age groups are miraculously combined in that man. So, until he spoke and hence revealed his identity, the visitors are suspended in wonder. "Would you please introduce yourselves?" said the man of wonders. "I am Frida Ibrahim Mustafa Gabber, and this is my sister Intisar, and this gentleman is her fiancé Sami Osman Al-Taib. That girl is my younger sister Firdaus. That gentleman is Salah Ahmed Salah. He is a friend of Sami. May I know the purpose of your visit?" "My sister Intisar, without her knowledge or consent, has been contracted in marriage to your son Hassan." Frida looked doubtfully at the man of wonders and said, "May I know whether you are Hassan father or grandfather?" "I am neither his father nor his grandfather nor related to him. I am his father's secretary. I have been instructed by Mr. Mahjoub al-Hilali to study your case and decide whether it is worthy of disturbing his tight schedule. If I am convinced by your problem, I would allow you to proceed further and meet him, otherwise, I would be the last person for you to see." "As I have told you," said Frida angrily, "this is my sister Intisar and this is her fiancé Sami. They are planning to get married soon. Nonetheless, 2 days ago we are all shocked, when we learned that your boss son had got himself married to her without her knowledge or consent." "Hold on," said the man of wonders. He then walked across the room and took out of a cupboard a paper and read it silently. "Have you said the girl is your sister?" "Yes, she is." "What is her father's name and what is the name of your father?" "Of course, her father is my father." "What is strange in that?" "I have already told you that our father's name is Ibrahim Mustafa Gabber." The man of wonders felt offended by Frida's sarcastic answer. He said angrily, "So what if I have asked about her father name and your father name? Even I have 2 sisters, but none of them have the same name as my father has. My name is Fatah Abdul Razak Karar. My first sister is Salma Mohammed Ahmed and my second sister is Saida Abdul Wahab Ghaffar." After the man of wonders revealed his family wonderful genealogy, the visitors are caught in wonder and waited for him to explain the riddle. "It is impossible," said Salah, 3 different fathers and you want us to believe that they are your sisters? What is impossible in that? My mother married her first husband and he divorced her after a year. She married her second husband who released her too, after 4 years. At last she married my father who died with her. From each man she had a child." The man of wonders waited for some time to see if there is anyone among the visitors who wanted to challenge him further on his family's ties. Salah, somehow, had developed some liking towards him. "What about your father?" said Salah, "had he married your mother only?" "My father married 9 wives, said the man of wonders. "I don't think that you can justify this also. According to Islam, a man can marry a maximum of 4 wives. How did your father manage to marry a total of 9 women?" "It is simple," said the man of wonders, "my father was an womanizer. Women are his weakness. Whenever he saw a beautiful woman he went after her until he added her to the list of his harem. After he possessed 4 wives he saw yet another young beautiful damsel. He wanted to marry her but was hindered by the restriction of the law that you have quoted. He went to Mu'allana and shared his problem with him. The religious leader gave him a good advice which helped him to possess not only a 5th wife, but to go up to the 9th. What did Mu'allana advise him to do? Inquired Salah. He simply taught him the law of release and possess. Through that law, Mu'allana told my father, he managed to marry 14 wives. Can you explain to us that law? Asked Salah. Although Salah has a university degree in law, still he felt he has been confronted by a law that he has never heard about it at the law college. Yes, I can, said the man of wonders seriously. I would give you an illustration. Suppose that Mr. X has 4 wives already. Let us call them the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th wife. Suppose Mr. X saw a young beautiful damsel and his heart went after her. He desired to have her for wife, but the restriction of 4 wives only at a time stood on his way. In that case he either restrains his passion or applies the law of release and possess. According to that law he can divorce one of his 4 wives and marry his heart's desire. It is preferable to divorce the first wife because she would be the oldest and hence the least desirable one. When he gets married to the new wife he would not call her his 5th wife, for she becomes the replacement for the first one. Again the 6th one, would be called the 2nd and so on. The circle can be repeated once or twice or thrice or even 10th times in accordance to one's financial position and physical strength. Moreover, my father used to work as a muhalil at the Sharia court. What is muhalil? Said Salah. I admit that even though I am a lawyer, I have never heard of such a position at the Sharia court. Then, you have come to the right person, who is about to teach a law that most probably you have not been taught at the law college. My father used to sit on a stool in front of the Sharia court and over his head a big board was visibly hanging. In capital letters was written Muhalil for hire. According to the Islamic law, if a man divorces his wife thrice he cannot remarry her again unless she get married to another man and that man divorces her after sleeping with her at least one time. My late father, may the mercy of Allah be upon his soul, used to perform such a marital task because he loved women. Sometimes, he contracted to himself at a total of 3 divorcees in one single week. In that way, he did not only get many women to sleep with, but he made great fortune from those ex-husbands of those thrice divorced wives. After fully and successfully explaining the peculiar job of his womanizer father, the man of wonders wanted to start another idiosyncratic immoral habit of his late father, but he is harshly interrupted by Frida. Mr. Fata, said Frida impatiently. Can we go straight to our problem? Yes we can, said Mr. Fata. Now you have said this girl has the same father you have. Does she also have the same mother you have? Why do you want to go into that endless and useless talk again? We have the same father, the same mother, the same house, the same aunts, the same maidservant, the same dog, and in short we are real sisters. And I am her elder sister and Wali. If what you have said is true there is a confusion here. According to my knowledge this girl has a guardian Wali by the name of Omar, O-M-A-R, and not Frida, F-R-I-E-D-A. And I don't think Mu'allana Sheikh Marzouk had confused Omar for Frida. Besides that, I myself was present at the time the marriage contract was signed and acted as one of the 3 witnesses. So, you are not her guardian Wali. You will never ever convince me that you are a brother and not a sister of the bride of my boss son. With all your knowledge and experience in polygamy, have you not yet understood that the practice brings enmity and hatred between the rival wives and their children? Our father is too a polygamist, but not so notorious as your father. He married 2 wives. From his first wife he begot Omar and Badria. From his second wife he begot Intisar, Osman, Firdaus, and me. There is an old enmity between his 2 wives which is passed to their children. For that reason, Omar conspired with Hassan and sold Intisar to him. That is a very complicated problem. I think I have to refer it to my boss. You would see him in 5 minutes. The man of wonders excused himself and walked out of the room. Among the 4 great men in Al-Gadarif city, Mr. Mahjoub al-Hilali is the least in age, in wealth, in power, in number of wives, and in number of children. For he had only one single wife and one son. Besides that, he descended from a very poor family. The only advantages he had above the other 3 great men is that he had completed his 12th standard and hence became big orator. The other noticeable difference, he is a tall handsome gentleman with a pleasant smile on his face. After many years of struggle, he won the election as a representative of the city in the General Assembly. "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen," said the great politician, as soon as he entered the room. The visitors stood on their feet in respect and shook hands with their political leader. "Please sit down." "Thank you, sir," said Salah. "Who is going to start the introduction?" "I think you have to start first, because you are many." "Well," said Frida, "this is my sister Intisar and this is her fiancé, Sami Osman Al-Taib. Sami recently graduated from Khartoum University as a civil engineer. This is his friend Salah Hassan Salah. He is Sami's friend and too graduated as a lawyer from the same university. This is my younger sister Firdaus. My name is Frida Ibrahim Mustafa Gabber. I too was graduated from the same university and at present I work as a translator in a foreign company at Abu Dhabi. Great men and great women and with great learning. I am not as great as you are. My father is a poor farmer. He could not afford to send me to university. I have graduated from the University of Life. That is why the good people of this city have entrusted me with the responsibility of representing them in the General Assembly. Well, I have learned from my secretary that you have come to discuss a serious problem with me. You need my help. That falls exactly on my duty. My duty can be summarized in one short sentence. A defender of the weak. Now tell me, what is your problem? Our problem, said Frida, is caused by your son. We want you to defend your son before it is too late. As I have told you, I am not as educated as you are. I need more explanation. Your son Hassan had conspired with our half-brother and bitter enemy Omar and got himself married to my sister Intisar without her knowledge or consent. That is what you call a problem. I am sorry to disappoint you. I would never call that a problem. It is just misunderstanding, and if you listen to me I am sure your doubt would be cleared. This is the story in less complicated fashion and in very simple version. My son is in love with a girl whom I have never seen, even once. He claimed that she is the most beautiful girl in the city. He said the girl loves him too. She told him to wait for her until she completed her studies. He waited for her 3 long years. At the end she ditched him and fell in love with another boy who is more handsome and richer than he is. He came and told me, "Father, my life is finished." He further told me, "I have seen her with my own eyes, standing in the street in front of her school and talking with him." I told him just forget about her. After few days I came to know from my wife that our son was not eating or drinking or even sleeping at night. We were very sad to see him in that miserable condition. What troubled us more, was that, we could do nothing to help him. He was dying before our eyes and we were helpless. When he was in his last stages, somebody came out of the blue and told us to go to her brother Omar and seek his help. We went and explained our problem to him. He told us that he was not happy about his sister's love affair with that rich man's son. He then expressed his interest to give his sister to my son as a lawful wife. For he said, he knew that rich boy would just destroy her life and throw her in the streets. I said to him, "Let me first approach Mr. Osman Al-Taib and find out whether his son is serious about his relationship with the girl, and whether he would not mind if his son would get married to her." When I consulted the good man Mr. Osman Al-Taib, I found that he was very much against the match between his son and the girl. He further told me that he had already proposed Mu'allana's daughter to his son. After that, I went to Mu'allana, and consulted him too concerning the marriage. He told me since the girl's father was dead, then her brother had the right to give her in marriage to whom he likes. Even so, I did not stop at Mu'allana, but I went to some elders who were living near the girl's house and sought their advice. They collectively said to me that what Omar was planning to do for his sister was very good. Moreover, they said everybody in their area was worried about the girl's affair with that rich man's son. After the elders gave their approval, I went to Omar and took him to the blessed Mu'allana. After that, we fixed the date for the marriage. On the appointed day, Omar, Hassan, Mu'allana Sheikh Marzouk, myself, and many elders, we all gathered together in the Grand Mosque and conducted the marriage contract according to the Sunnah of Allah and His beloved Prophet. The next day, I sent my son along with Omar to his bride's house. When they went there, they learned from the mother that the girl went to Khartoum to receive her elder sister. Nonetheless, the mother did not like the idea of approaching Omar for her daughter's hand in marriage. I told my son that it is natural for her to object, because Omar is her husband's first wife's son. I requested my son to wait until elder sister arrives, and we can approach them again. Now I am very happy that you have come to us and brought with you my son's beautiful bride Intisar. We supposed to celebrate and rejoice today. My son Hassan would be very happy to see his bride has come to him. When Mr. Mahjoub al-Hilali finished his long story, the visitors couldn't believe their ears that he finally had ceased to speak. For his deep and solemn political voice continued to ring in their ears. Every one of them had formed 2 or 3 doubts about the genuineness of his story. Salah is the first one to voice his objection. Have you ever tried to find out whether Sami is genuine in his love for Intisar or just believed what others said about him? Also, have you tried to find out whether Intisar is truly in love with your son, and all of a sudden just decided to ditch your son and replace him with Sami Osman Al-Taib? As to the first question, my reply is yes, and that I have inferred from his father's reply. Besides that, experience taught us that such kind of friendship would never work for good. Can you give me one example to prove that a rich man's son got married to a poor girl in this city? As regarding the second question, I can simply say to you, that I know my son would not lie to me. Well, said Salah again, can you direct us to those elders who gave their approval for your son to get himself married to Intisar against her wish? That is a confidential matter. Can you tell us who is the person that advised you to approach Omar? I can't tell you his name, but I can say he is a social advisor who always helps people in such a situation. Can you at least tell us who are the 3 witnesses? That is a confidential matter too. Well, said Frida, we have come here for only one purpose, and that is to tell you that what you and your son and Omar have done is a wicked conspiracy. As long as I live, none of you can touch a single hair of my sister's head. Now let that slave trader come and take her by force to your son. Of course we don't want to challenge you, said Mr. Mahjoub al-Hilali. As the man of the government, I must tell you that Intisar has become my son's lawful wife. Who made her to be your son's lawful wife? Shouted Sami in anger. Listen, young man. I have nothing to do with you. If you are angry because my son married this girl, go to her brother Omar and ask him why you were not trusted to marry his sister. Mr. Mahjoub al-Hilali, said Salah, it is my advice to you that you should withdraw your support of this kind of an evil conspiracy. You call it a conspiracy, but I call it a lawful marriage. So, you are openly challenging us, said Frida in anger. I wouldn't, unless you drive me to do so. There is a law in this country, continued Frida, we will try that first, but if the law fails us, I know how to protect my sisters from such evil people as you and Mr. Osman Al-Taib. I am sorry, friends, I think I have given you enough time. I have many other appointments for the day. If you have more questions or doubts, you can contact me either through the telephone or come another day." When the politician said his last words, he arose to his feet and walked out of the room.